got our podcast, thinking you should watch it. If you driving, man, it's good for you to listen. No, we keep it real. No, we spit it raw. Sports dialogue. No, it's good if I'm involved. No, we're not the news. We just cool dude with nobody to impress. Just talking our shit. Call it Pressman coverage. Pressman coverage.
Welcome to episode 7 of Pressman coverage. We are super excited today to dive into the Tennessee Titans schedule. Before we do, I just want to say thank you guys so much for the subscriptions, liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing. These last few weeks have just been awesome. We want to continue to grow. We're on the road to 1,000.
Come on now.
To 1,000. One step at a time, but we're super excited. Thank you guys for tuning in. We've got a pretty cool episode for you today. But first, let me introduce my co-host, Cody.
How you feeling, man?
Man, today's one of them days, man, where I've been seeing a lot of videos about old Cam, and now we're about to go through the schedule. So I'm on the roller coaster of seeing Cam back on the decline of looking at the schedule.
Yeah, I've seen a few clips of old Cam throwing old Mr. Chimere DK.
All right, Randall, how you doing, man? Let's pass it over to the engineer, producer, everything else, just not Cody.
Hey, we here, baby. We here. Had a long night. I'm a little behind on schedule, but we here, baby. We here for the content, man. You know what I'm saying? Really proud of you, brothers, man. We did some special stuff just recently, man. At
TD.
Yes, sir.
Man.
We had the legend himself, Mr. Teron Davenport, on the show. Man, salute to him, man. He came and just kicked it with us, man.
2 hours.
Yes,
man.
Yes, beautiful.
A lot of content.
Man, 2 hours on camera.
Yeah. Man, super humble brother, man.
I feel like that needs a pause.
Hey, chill out. Now we're going to get flagged again.
Hey, matter of fact, can you?
No, it's time. No.
We got time.
This is my one.
Get him.
YouTube, what's good, bro?
They tripping.
What's good, YouTube? YouTube AI specifically. What's going on, huh?
They hating on us,
political
bro.
content? Do I look like I know anything about politics?
Yeah.
I don't even politic in these streets.
I shouldn't have wore all red.
You flag another video and watch what I do.
Come on.
I ain't going to do nothing, but I'm going to come back on next episode and have this same conversation with you until you learn. Don't flag no more of my stuff. You hear me?
Let them know.
Facts.
Because man, we making waves out in the streets right now, man. We reaching the people. It's way more Titans fans coming out the woodworks, man. It's a beautiful thing. And you know what I'm saying, man? Don't slow down the impact, man. I mean, you can't stop it, but
Stop it. And I know who did this too.
Yeah, they talk to him.
I ain't going to say no names, but if you put a smear campaign out here and got everybody blocking this, you know what? I'm just going to say the name. Castanat. No, I'm playing. What? We tried to interfere with a streamer university. He wasn't going. He shut everything down. But no, man, we're super excited to talk today, man. And, the schedule released about a week or two ago. We wanted kind of the dust to settle. And for me, I'll be honest with you, I wanted to get through rookie minicamp. I wanted to see how we looked just so I can get a little bit more delusional for this episode. You have to have the right level of delusion depending on the episode. And now it's really time to dive in. So, man, first glance, I know the topic that was big, around Tennessee at least, nobody else cared. And when I say this subject, you'll know why, was primetime games. Open up the schedule. We don't have any primetime games. They gave us a lot of those, early afternoon slots, which I do like those time slots, I'll be honest. But no true primetime games. Cody, how you feel about that?
I'm pissed the hell off. I mean, have we ever had a number one pick disrespected?
The last number one pick that didn't get a primetime game was Myles Garrett.
I mean, go back to just him being drafted.
I mean, it makes no sense.
It was, hey, good job, Cam. Now back to Shador.
Right. Yeah. The trade. Yeah. Bro, all of that.
It's really nasty work, bro. We had our theories at a point in time of how they like to try to do the Titans and us being a small market team, but it's like, dog, y'all are beyond disrespectful at this point.
Yes.
We've been through enough. It's just like, bro, just stop playing the games, because it's gonna be real nasty when y'all are on our coattails when we start winning. You know what I'm saying?
Just that simple.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just
real
like
nasty work.
Give us the 9 o'clock slot on the doubleheader on Monday night that nobody's going to care about but us.
And we'll be fine.
Yeah, we'd be cool with that.
I'll be up late.
Yeah.
Yelling at my kids, telling them to get in bed so I can watch the game. Man, that's exactly what's going to happen.
It's just wild to me. And I know that we are a pitiful football team, but you have the number one pick. You think you want to give them some shine.
It hasn't happened since Cam Newton got drafted. Cam Newton's been wearing top hats for the last 10 years outside of the league.
Cam Newton's a Twitch streamer now.
Like, what is going on, man? Like, and he's cussed out more campers than we'd have primetime games. So this is just ridiculous.
To me,
man.
it's very frustrating as a fan, the fact that we couldn't get at least one primetime game, even if it's the 9 o'clock slot. Like, ridiculous.
And you know what made me a little bit more frustrated is like hearing the gentleman come out and kind of give the rationale. It was a part of like the little scheduling committee or events committee, whatever you call it, and saying like you don't draft your way to prime time, but you play your way to prime time, which is all fine and dandy if there had been a track record of any within the last 10 years, first round quarterback or first overall pick quarterbacks not getting a primetime game. Obviously, those teams were terrible with the exception of the Bears, who weren't as bad because they were traded that pick. But it's like, come on, man. Like, don't come up with that excuse when reality shows something much different. Just be frank with us. Not a very big market. Didn't sell out a lot of seats in the stadium. Bad season last year. We don't know what you guys are going to be. Cool, say that, but don't try to put history to it. And you don't play your way to. Well, obviously, other teams didn't have to go through that same criteria. Just keep it real with us. And yeah, I don't know what's going on with me today, but I'm talking crazy to everybody. I don't even know your name, older white man. We're about to get flagged for real. I don't even know why I had to bring in his age and racing. I just wanted to be specific, just in case there's a couple of videos, a couple people saying stuff. But anyways, well, let's dive into this schedule. For me, preseason games are something that we typically gloss over, but for the sake of Cam Ward, I would like to talk a little bit about it. So week 1 preseason, we've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at their place. August 9th, man, that's right around the corner, it feels like. I mean, we feel like about to be halfway through summer here in a moment. Week 2, we're at the Atlanta Falcons. Week 3, we are at home for our first home, quote-unquote, opener per se, against the Minnesota Vikings in late August. So, one thing that I try to look towards now that we have a rookie quarterback, what do the defenses look like that we're going to play? All three of the teams, the Vikings, they're maybe are the top defense we're going to play, but it'll be interesting to see. I think our test in terms of defensive lines we're going to play in the preseason versus what we're going to play in the regular season, I hope we don't get caught with any fool's gold. Yeah,
I don't know if any of these defensive lines are actually going to play their studs.
Yeah.
Like I don't see Vita Vea playing against the Titans or anything. I mean, we may see old big Des Watson, 445 pounds of them. So, Zeitler may have to get in there and handle some business with 445 pounds. But, these preseason games, man, it's all vanilla defenses. And, you expect your number one pick to probably cook some vanilla defenses, you would assume.
Exactly. And, obviously we're not going to be showing too much from a scheme standpoint ourselves. Hopefully Brian doesn't come out and show the whole thing week 1 of preseason. But, I think that I would love to actually have a test before we roll into the regular season. D-line wise, the Vikings will probably be the best option that we get because it's the last preseason game. Maybe starters play, 3 or 4 drives, and you really get a full look at it. But it'll be interesting. In this season, I'm interested to actually see some of our pass catchers in the preseason.
Yeah, that's probably the most exciting part, honestly. We got the man Chimere DK, we got Alik.
Can we stop with the man before that? we have Tennessee Titans 4th round wide receiver.
Hey, I gotta give my praise to Mr. Borgonzi and everybody for drafting our future number 1 wide receiver.
Mr. Praise, my praise. What?
But yeah, so I think. This is probably the first preseason really in a while that I'm actually excited to see the young quarterback throw into his young pieces because, we were excited watching Mr. Will Levis in the preseason last year.
Yeah.
He looked real good.
He did.
And as we can tell, it doesn't always translate. So let's just hope that if, Cam Ward, maybe if he plays bad in the preseason, he'll play good in the regular season. Maybe it's like a little reverse effect.
We can only hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's one of those where I just want to see an O-line that just looks solid throughout the preseason. And what I mean by that is like I want to see some of our depth pieces. I think our starters could work to be NFL average. You know what I mean? Not individually, but as a collective unit. But I would like to see what our swing tackles look like, you know, because we've got Blake Hance, who's played tackle and also played guard. Blake Hance was actually the starting tackle in the last playoff game that the Browns won with Baker Mayfield. Very random stat. After the game, Baker Mayfield was like, hey, and shout out to, you know, the random tackle who, you know, was kind of weird, but it was,
it was Blake Hance?
Yeah, it was Blake Hance. So he's got some tackle experience. But outside of that, we've got
it's going to be Jalen Duncan against Brendan Crenshaw Dixon.
Yeah, and John Ajukwu, who's still hanging around somehow. But it'll be interesting. So I want to see what the depth looks like, which is why I'm happy we've got so many young wide receivers, because this will be our real chance to see them in action. So really interested about that. You got any thoughts around the preseason, Randy, you want to share with us?
I think it's gonna be good to let some of these rooks get out here and kind of see what they're made of, get some reps in, get comfortable, get acclimated with the team. I mean, this right here, once you get to maybe the third game, it's all about roster cuts and trying to see who's gonna make the squad. Now, I'm curious to see how they use Restrepo in these preseason games. Will he get out there and get a lot of work in? Will he run with the 2s and 3s, or how they're gonna slot him in? And so that's gonna be one that I'm really watching the preseason for. But other than that, I just want to just see who. Hey, oh yeah, I forgot. We got to see how Mr. O'Malley does.
Oh, you talking about Mr.
Yeah.
O'Malley? Make the team. We need it. Yeah, because it's going to be interesting, especially, you mentioned the pass catchers. You've talked about it a couple times, seeing where people are kind of slotted and positioned correctly. I want to see that, like, from the positional standpoint. Who's the true backup slot? Who's going to be the backup X? We were happy to get Alec Iomander, but it's one of those, like, okay, if he doesn't show he's ready, or if he tweaks an ankle, who actually could be another option? Everybody else is under 6 foot, it feels like. So is that Chimere DK? Is that Van Jefferson? Is that, trying to squeeze Calvin Ridley there, or Lockett, kind of moving them around? Like, what is that actually going to look like when it comes down to it? So it'll be interesting to see that and where people fall.
Yeah, TD's a big fan of Iomander. He thinks that he could probably be the start next just coming in. I've heard that a few times from a few different people. So, yeah, I mean, I think Alec Iomander, he's kind of got a lot to prove in the preseason. Maybe he can give us a little Victor Cruz game against the Jets way back when we had like 203. That'd be pretty sweet.
I mean, that would be awesome, man. It's one of those, too, where it's like, it's almost like I know he's a rookie, but it's almost like it's his spot to lose just based on his genetic makeup.
Which is weird because he was a 5th-round pick.
I know.
So, and it says a lot.
But, man, looking at the regular season games, the schedule overall, before I talk about that specifically, if we had a good team, I would be in love with this schedule. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like we have a whole bunch of juggernauts. We're playing a 4th-place schedule, obviously. And the teams that we have, we don't have a whole – the Chiefs, obviously, are the Chiefs, and when the Texans are in our division. But outside of that, most of the teams that we play may not even be the best teams in their division. Again, benefit of playing a 4th-place schedule. But it's interesting in the spot that we're in, to where – a couple years ago, I'm like, oh, we got a sweet schedule. We went in 12 of these things, and now I'm looking at it, and we'll give our predictions here in a moment. But, are we going to squeak out 6? You know what I mean? It's an interesting spot to be in.
Yes, you look at the schedule, and you like you said, you'd be excited. You see the Raiders and the Cardinals and the Patriots early in the season. You think that's 3 wins in the first 7 weeks or whatever. But our over under on the sports books are only 5.5, man. So these wins are probably going to be hard to come by. But there's always one team that finishes last in the division, always makes the playoffs.
Hey, and I believe.
How much do you believe?
Not enough to put any money on it.
I'm the same way.
I got a little light 25 on. That's about it. But, man, okay, so let's talk about the schedule. We've got the Denver Broncos week 1. The home that Cody Barton built. That's what I'm calling it.
Yep. Remember the old Steven Gostkowski game? 5 missed field goals, man. That was a good one. Revenge game right here.
The legendary game. So that's going to be an interesting for us because One, the atmosphere. The stands, the fans, excuse me, they're going to be raucous.
They're going to be jacked.
They're kind of in that spot we were the year after, we had a solid year. Then the next year, 2019, we felt like, we really got some juice. They're in that spot. They've got a young quarterback, some weapons that are developing around them, a defense that was absolutely trill last year. Like, this is one of the – if you pointed to anybody on the schedule, I would almost rather play – not even almost. I would rather play the Chiefs week one than play the Broncos.
Yeah, this is going to be a real test for the new offensive line. This is going to be a real test for our quarterback going against, Patrick Surtain.
Defensive Player of the Year, Patrick Surtain.
Yeah, so, this is going to be probably as tough as it gets, honestly, with a whole revamped offensive line or rookie quarterback. Man, you're going to have to play it safe, I feel like, this game.
And you're not even going to have your sea legs underneath you in terms of, like, getting in true game shape. I don't care what anybody says. If you played any sort of sport at all, you know what I'm talking about, where you haven't really gotten into game shape until your third and fourth game, no matter what sport it is. So coming there, you're trying to get in shape where your lung capacity feels like it's 70% of what it normally is in the Mile High City. That's going to be interesting. I'm going to be curious to see how Cam handles the huddle, how he gets in and out with the efficiency, if he's going to be bold enough to make checks at the line, not just the traditional can where it's just that other play that we had. No, we need to go to something totally different. Are you ready to do that week one? Because you're going to be asked to do those things in an environment like that. Randy, what do you think about that Broncos game? And I'll ask you this specifically. Is there any chance that Cam Ward outperforms Bo Nix week one?
I think so. And I only say that just because of, Bo Nix, he's coming in where his expectations is a little higher than Cam's in a sense. And he's expected to already be rolling. You know what I'm saying?
Playoff team?
They made playoffs last year.
Yeah, so Cam gets to come in and he gets to take advantage of, like you said, just fresh. Everybody's fresh at this point. Everybody's getting comfortable, getting acclimated. So I think in that sense, we may have a slight edge, but they have to come in like locked in and prepared.
Yeah.
If it's any of those things, he will pay the price. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I do think, he may have a slight advantage over what Bo Nix is expected to do coming in week one.
Pressure-wise, for sure.
Yes.
Pressure-wise, for sure. Once you make the playoffs, and you're a young quarterback and you do that as a rookie, people expect you to make some sort of leap. And I don't really know how often that leap really happens. I feel like a lot of times that second year, unless your name is Joe Burrow, it could be pretty tough. So
me speaking for myself real quick, I got no patience for this bad offensive line crap. I got none. I expect them to be good week one. There's too many assets on this thing. We spent too much money. It needs to be rolling.
Man, that's a lot. That's a lot. Week one, golly. Can they have any time to jail, Cody?
They got a whole training camp. They got preseason games to get their shit together.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I agree though.
Y'all hard on these boys.
Bro, it's been 3 years.
Yeah. They haven't been here 3 years. They just got here.
It doesn't matter. They're having to fill the gas for the pain that we have felt. Like I'm tired of watching my quarterback get absolutely mauled.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
They have to come in
they gotta be ready to go.
Like, bro, I'm expecting Zeitler to help. You know what I'm saying? Will we have our center back? Will he be back?
They say he's projected to be back. We'll probably know better training camp time.
Okay. But, yeah, these guys have to come in and be jailed, bro. Like, the left side is going to be a real test to see how Dan Moore is acclimated. He got paid that money. He got to come in hype, man. Like, we have to protect this quarterback. We have to have I think Tony Pollard's going to come in shape. I think he's going to come in smooth. So, I think – in that sense, we'll be able to, like, impose our will and establish the run. I think that's how we'll attack this particular game. But that line has to get in a rhythm. It's going to start with the run.
Has to.
But once that, we'll see how they do on these pass plays
Yeah.
or play action or things like that. But they got to come in hot.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Bonino is no joke coming off the edge. You know, he's a stand-up physical linebacker, long arms, outside linebacker, excuse me. So there'll definitely be a test, you know. And for me,
Just
it's
no
tough-
more
it's tough for
Ole
me to
blocks.
say that, man. It's like, obviously you guys aren't asking for this, but if they have a game where they give up 2 sacks, I'm not going to be yelling. I can't. We got a player who's in his second year who just switched to the other side, a center coming back from injury. You know, we got an older guy who's coming in, just kind of getting settled. They got to learn each other and communicate a little bit. You know, from what I understand, the offensive lines don't really hit their stride until like week 6 or week 7 traditionally.
Oh, no.
Even for the ones who are established.
I'm sorry, but I don't got the patience for it.
How could you expect that out of a O-line that just got put together perfection?
Liam, all I'm asking for is when Cam Ward says hut, make sure the guy's hand still isn't in the dirt.
No, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. But to be expecting to give up no sacks week 1 is crazy.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying they need to be average. They need to,
That's what I just said.
They need to be solid. Like I'm
I
saying,
just said
but,
average.
But if they live, but what I'm saying is if they're giving up like 4 or 5 sacks, that's a
I
problem.
said 2 sacks, and you said that's not acceptable.
I don't know. Maybe I didn't pick up on that part.
No, 4 or 5 sacks. Anything more than 2 to me, depending on how they happen. Like if it's something to where it falls on the running back or Cam Moore's not getting rid of the ball quick enough, okay, fine. But if it's what you mentioned, NPF style, like I'm gonna play Twister real quick while the play started. Oh, the play started. Snap! I got my head on red, blue. Like, come on, man. But I completely agree with that. I just want them to look like
functional.
Just be functional.
Yeah.
Just nothing. No brain farts.
Yeah.
No brain. You can get beat by a better player making an excellent move. Whatever. That's going to happen from time to time. But nothing that's like, oh, I totally missed my punch. Sorry, Cam Ward. You know, how does that dirt taste? I understand. I respect that. I respect that. I respect that.
Hey,
I respect that.
It is like, man, like you said, bro. We've been through a lot. We've seen some of the worst O-line play. And so I think that's why we're a little traumatized.
No,
but
it's easy to be.
We've seen the worst. We've seen, like I said, NPF get down and praise the Lord on one knee. You know what I'm saying?
It was Sunday, though.
Yeah, it was.
He missed church that morning. I'm picking it up. MPF, I got you, bro. Now that's on me. That's on me. I did not tell the people that you go to Mount Zion and we lift our hands in the sanctuary.
We brought up NPF, and all TD could do was.
This dude, man, and then I don't know what in the world the Packers were doing. Who was it? It wasn't the Packers. Somebody picked up MPF,
The 49ers.
and they picked up who was the
both
other
of them.
guy? Andre Dillard.
Hey, they can get Arden Key too.
Hey, man. Listen,
Make it look real
good looks. And look.
Like, what in the world?
Y'all got it.
You could do 1 twin, 1 power, and merge them, and they still slow. Okay, all right, let's get off week 1. And we roll into week 2, which is another test within itself, and it's a test for multiple reasons. For me, I want to actually look at the other side of the ball. Their defensive line is a solid defensive line. They got some young players who can really give you some problems with Jared Verse and such. But looking at what our defense is going to have to deal with an experienced quarterback, bringing in Devontae Adams, you've still got Puka there. You've got some real weapons that you've got to deal with on that side of the ball. They're going to have to come in and gel, and he gets the ball out fast. So this is a situation where you've got to be mature enough and poised enough. Those hands got to be high, get some tips on some balls, do a lot of things in that way to try to generate some turnovers. But playing against that defense week 2 is going to be a real test. A real test.
I ain't gonna lie, Liam. I'm sorry to interrupt. I was gonna let you cook, man, because you was cooking. But man, pause that up though.
What I
Tips on balls?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, that's a little wild.
You gotta get the tips
that's
on
a little
there?
wild.
That's
I'm actually going to ask you to cut that out.
Yeah,
because I'm not going to have nobody screenshotting me. Once this podcast gets to 1 million views an episode, I'm going down.
Hey, yeah, man.
Me and Diddy on trial together. No, I'm playing. Let me not ever put that into the atmosphere. But yeah, man. So the Rams are going to be a real tough, outing for our defense out one. And to me, this is going to be the game that tells me if Snead is here. Because I think it's going to be Snead and Devontae Adams all day. Yes, Devontae Adams, isn't just a killer Devontae Adams, but if he would have played more games and was on the pace he was on like the last 3 or 4 games last year, he's going to be a 1,200-yard receiver based on that pace. What do you think about that, Randall?
I was going to say with that, man, this right here is when it gets real. You know what I'm saying? Bullets are flying. This is going to be a real well-coached, disciplined team.
Correct.
Devontae Adams is going to have he's going to be hyper-focused that game. Like, I noticed that, like, when Stafford really likes a guy, he laser locks in on him.
15 targets.
I can easily see if Snead is healthy and he's available for this game, he's going to be shadowing. And so I'm interested to see that matchup, and this will be a true test of where Snead is in his rehab and development, and can he get back to that elite play? This is going to be a real test for the defense to get pressure, get the ball. You know what I'm saying? They gotta get Stafford off of schedule, bro. But this is going to be a real test on the team this week.
Agreed.
Yeah, they I do believe that their offensive line can be had, though.
They can be.
Yeah, so
they can be.
I'd be interested to see, because that's why I have to do all that quick passing game and stuff like that. I mean, they got a great running back too with Kyron Williams. So I think this would be a game where we could see, Simmons, he put out the hashtag double digits.
Got to hit him now.
We get a chance to get 1.5, maybe 2. See Javonte Sweat getting there.
Yeah.
And even, Femi.
Yeah, man.
Or, Mr. O'Malley.
O'Malley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
man.
I think this is an offensive line that can be had. I mean, I remember seeing Stafford get rocked like plenty of times last year. So I think this would be a good defensive line game for us, and try to give our corner some help.
Yes.
Yeah, and that'll be big for us to be able to do that. And I like that you mentioned those 2 players specifically in the middle. Obviously, they're the only people we can really mention. But getting pressure up the middle on Stafford, I think, will be essential, because it's going to help our linebackers too. Exactly. He's essentially a statue at this point in his career, and has been for a year or 2 now. But a lot of his targets are towards the middle of the field. They're crossing routes. There's, a lot of drags, comeback routes on the outside every once in a while, but he uses his slot receivers so much. We need to get pressure up the middle, get hands up, help our linebackers be able to have that extra second to get to that player. So that'll be an interesting matchup. That's a great thing to pull out. And then going to week 3, home again against the Colts.
First division game.
The first division game of back-to-back division games with the Texans coming up next. But the Colts are a game for me that's going to be one of my personal X-Factor games. And I'll tell you why. I think that from a talent perspective, our teams aren't too far apart from a raw talent. They don't have a wide receiver that I'm like, oh my goodness, he can cook me. I think Ridley would be the best wide receiver on their team as well. But then when you go to other positions, it's kind of a wash. You'll probably end up 50-50. Maybe we'll sway a little bit to one side or the other, but it's one of those things where if we need to really show what we've got. We're back at home for back-to-back weeks. People should be settled. You've had a few weeks of some tough teams. Now you've got the Colts, who you guys could be fighting for who's going to be last place. You know what I mean? Or one of these teams could get hot. The quarterback play should be wishy-washy. This would be maybe one of the only games where we have a true advantage at the quarterback position. Like, just understanding that he's going to be a rookie. If he comes out hot, he comes out hot, whatever. But just realistically, this may be one of the few games or the few teams we play, since we play them twice, where we have a true quarterback advantage. So this is one of my personal X-Factor games, or the Indianapolis Colts. What do you think about this matchup for us?
Last time we played them, bro, they gave us like 300 yards on the ground.
Oh, man.
So, that's got to – I would assume that's got to be eaten up. Jeffrey Simmons and Javonte Sweat. You got to want to get back in there and try to stop JT. I mean, JT's going to be – he can break the game open for him. I think that could be a potential problem. And then, I don't know if it's going to be AR or, Daniel Jones, but they're both mobile, but they can't throw a lick. They can't throw a lick. So, again, I think this is going to be another big defensive line game for us. Yeah, you just got to try to shut down Jonathan Taylor, man, just try to make him throw.
And, they put us in a lot of RPO situations last year, too. And they're going to do that even more with Daniel Jones being the backup and it not being Joe Flacco. It's going to be a different defensive line game than the Rams game.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that is Rams game is kind of in certain situations, pin your ears back. Quarterback's not going to run.
Mm-hmm.
Go all out. You can fly outfield a little bit. Just watch for the draw. The Colts game is going to be set the edge, stay in the position. The quarterback's likely going to come to you or he's going to throw the ball to you. But if you get out of position, out of your rush lanes, he could take it to the house. I mean, I think Anthony Richardson had that game where they were for 300 on the ground. He was like 90 of those, just pulling it, keeping it, and getting around the edge. So that'll be interesting.
Maybe get AR. If you can get AR running around a little bit, maybe he'll tap himself out again and get about it.
Still one
Former
of the
game.
craziest
I'm sorry.
moments.
That's what you did, AR.
That was Coach. I need one. Need what? I need to come out, man. All right.
So currently, we've gone through 3. I want Randall to give his thing about the Colts as well, but I would like to know what our record is at so far. Whenever Randall gets done.
I mean, for the Colts, man, like you said, man, it's going to be a real test, this game. I think this is a very winnable game. We just have to set that tone. Like you said, set those edges and, force this team to play bad ball. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they're really talented. You know what I'm saying? This game, my expectation, we better win this game. I'll put it like that, bro. I'll just be frank. Like, and I'll lead off the charge with as far as, like, record at this point. I think
Through the first 3 games,
I think we shocked the world and beat Denver week 1.
okay.
I think it's going to be, yeah. Hey, man. Hey,
No, stand on. I'm with you.
I'm with it, bro.
I'm not with you, but I'm with you.
A lot of hey, but yeah, man, give me the dub, man. 17-14, week 1.
Okay.
We went by Sly with the field goal. Week 2, I think Stafford may pull that off. Probably take a L right there. I don't know the score on that one specifically, but week 3, Colts might be a mugging, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Cam Ward, he might get out there and get into doing the zombie land. It might get funky. I'm telling you, bro. Hey, call it what you want.
Hey,
it might get wicked out there, bro.
I hope so.
Twice a year too.
Hey, I love seeing the Colts twice a year when they slow. So you got them at 2-1.
I do. At that point, yeah.
Okay.
Give me 2-1.
So I got them at 1-2 with losses to the Broncos and Rams, and I think they'll beat the Colts at home.
I'm about the same as you, Cody. I am the same as you. The team that I could see them beating, and it's funny, we all have different views. In addition, could be the Rams to me. I could see if we affected Stafford enough and were able to run the ball effectively, we could slow that game down to keep the ball out of their hands. But 1-2 is probably the most realistic piece. And really, this is where things get tough, not only for the Titans, well, not really for the Titans, but specifically for Brian Callahan. Because if you come into this game 1-2, you've got 3 road games, a week 4, 5, and 6 at that point, where you were going to the Houston Texans, you got the Arizona Cardinals, and then the Las Vegas Raiders following up after that. That's going to be interesting. Houston Texans at Houston, and we won't have to go through these teams twice, but just to talk about Houston in general, they picked up, was that Christian Kirk?
They got Christian Kirk. Yep.
They got the 2 Ohio State boys, Higgins and Noel.
Iowa State.
Iowa State, excuse me.
State.
What did I say?
Ohio State.
Oh, no, definitely. Please don't let me say that. I don't want no receivers from Ohio State on anybody in our divisions team. Bring them all to us. But, yeah, we've got a nice group of weapons on top of Nico Collins, obviously, is still there. Dalton Schultz. We know what they've got in the ground game with ISO Joe. And then C.J. Stroud, who really didn't have a great year last year. We'll see, if he's able to turn it around this year, with us playing him week 4, at their place. That's going to be a tough one for us, especially because this, to me, is the first not true, but one of the toughest tests we're going to play all year when it comes to the edge rush group. Daniil Hunter, Will Anderson.
Golly.
I mean, do I need to say any more?
I mean, this is going to be the 4th week, so, I know you said they need about 6, but this offensive line, they got to be gelling.
I'm fine with that.
This could be a potential problem.
Yeah.
I mean, they got Stroud. Who did they? I know they traded Tunzel.
They did.
Who was their Did they pick up a different tackle? You may not know the name, but
I believe they drafted a tackle, if I'm not mistaken.
okay, so they may have a rookie left tackle.
I could have made that up, though.
Okay, well,
Very possible.
anyways, they don't have one of the best left tackles anymore, as far as I'm concerned.
And they traded away Shaq Mason as well at guard.
Yeah,
Or at least released him.
Again,
Yeah.
I think this is a game where the offensive line can be had.
Mm-hmm.
So they've got to make an impact, and you probably hopefully we still got Snead out there on Nico, and
Yeah.
and then McCreary or Jarvis Brownlee can do something with Kurt. But, I mean, they're not going to have Tank Dell, so I think they're going to be a little weaker, and then got to be able to do something with Joe Mixon.
Yeah, stopping Joe Mixon is key.
Mm-hmm.
When we got them late in the season last year, and Randy, I'll kind of let you talk about this, but do you think they're going to have a sour taste in their mouth from us coming into Houston last year and doing what we did?
I think they will. It's gonna be a real proven game. I mean, it just was bad how it went down last year.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think they're gonna come in charged up. I think this is a game. At this point, we're gonna see those tight ends really get utilized.
Yes.
And we'll see Cam. Cam should be in a flow then, and I think the offense should be smooth and clicking at this point, and it'll be some connections, timing, all of those things. So I think at this point we're deep in and we're rolling, and I think we can right the wrong of how we did last year because that was nasty work.
Yeah, and I think that us coming into Houston last year and beating them, Chig had a good game. I think NWI might have had 2 touchdowns that game, if I'm not mistaken. But that was a game that, I could see them being upset about. Texans, Titans, we don't like each other anyway. Yeah, we're not wearing our Oilers jerseys this year. Who cares? You ain't got them. But, yeah, this is another L for me.
Same. I'm at 1-3 right now.
Yeah, I'm at 1-3. I don't think think we get the Houston Texans. The only way we do is if we do some of the things that Cody mentioned, which is affect C.J. Stroud, and if we can establish the run. This was around this time last season, and there was 2 main spurts of Calvin Ridley having some playing some good football. But I think it was week 4 last year because we played week 3 Dolphins last year. Will Levis got hurt. Week 4 was the first game we were playing the Colts last year. Week 4, man, if this is my memory might be cold. Hold on. And he really had a good game. I think in the first half he had like 100-something yards or something like that. So hopefully it's earlier than that, but if this is a game or around that time where Ridley settles into the season and he gets into a flow with his quarterback, that can make some things shake because Texans, they're no slouches at corner either. Stingley and a few other pieces, they can play. So this will be an interesting one. But, if we come into this and we're 1-3, that's going to be something that's pretty interesting overall. But Randy, give me your thoughts on the Houston Texans and also lead us into the Arizona Cardinals conversation real quick.
So, I mean, with the Houston Texans, man, this game is going to be a paced game. I think this is going to be required to have these guys in sync. It's going to be a lot of, I think, play action, running the ball, being on point. And from there, I think we can possibly get this game. In just my opinion, I feel like at this point, it's going to be a real tight game. Come down. I think the defenses are going to be the key factors in this game. But I think maybe we can squeak that out at that point. So that's where I'm a little different. I may be a little biased, but that's just me.
You do wear two-tone blue glasses.
I'm deep in, baby.
You are positive, Randy, for sure. Yeah, man. Playing Texans on the road, I think that's going to be another tough game. I think I'm going to probably. So
you think at this point we don't edge that out? Because I think this is going to be a defensive battle, but it's going to be about who can control the pace of the game at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't. I think playing on the road with a rookie quarterback, I don't.
You think it'll be tough for him?
I think it's going to be tough for him. Yeah, just overall. I think Houston's probably still got a better roster than us. I think, yeah,
probably. I mean, if I'm just being realistic, edge rushers, their top 3 are better than any of ours.
Well, what I wouldn't sleep on though is, like you said, that effect of Tunsil being traded. That's going to be real different. Like already last year, and this is just me, and like I said, maybe I got the two-tone, shades on, bro. But last year I seen Stroud. He didn't come in as hot as he did last year. You could tell it was some like flow issues.
Yeah, they fired their OC, so there had to be something.
Yeah. So I think the sky's the limit on that. I think we have a chance, bro. Like maybe that's just me, but
I mean we beat them last year, so it's not out the realm of possibility. Because
I mean, at that point, I mean, you know, they lean on their run game real heavy.
Correct.
But as far as with Stroud just feeling comfortable out there, it just wasn't flowing last year. And so I think if those things still show up and occur, we might can squeak that game out. But that's just me. I'm biased. I don't know.
So do you have us at 2-2?
Yes.
Okay.
I have us at 500 at that point.
Okay.
Heading into Arizona.
Yeah, I've got us 1-3 heading to Arizona. Where you at?
I'm at 1-3 as well.
Okay. Arizona's going to be an interesting game for us. Really, these next 4 games, to me, are all winnable games. But we've got Arizona this week, week 5. Week 6, we've got the Las Vegas Raiders, both away. Back home against the Patriots, and Vrabes comes to town. We'll talk about that here in a moment. And then we've got the Indianapolis Colts. So week 5 through 8, to me, are a stretch of all winnable games. You know, I think these are games where we're going to have to fight. And I would love to squeak out with 2 of these wins, 2 out of 4 in this spot right here. Because I tell you what, if you don't, we may by the bye week have a different head coach.
Oh,
yeah, that's what I was thinking, man. Like I'm kind of, I mean, we don't have to like do a deep dive on every team, but I'm kind of where I'm at with. I think they'll split the Arizona Las Vegas game. I don't know which one's which, but I think they'll split that. So I think we'll be 2-4, and then when Mike Vrabel comes in week 7, we're 2-4, and Mike Vrabel comes in and potentially lays it on us. I could see Amy Abstract saying, "Hey, Brian, why don't you step into my office?"
Yeah. I mean, because that's a very real possibility. And to me, it also depends on, and maybe it doesn't, but I personally think it depends on how some of the losses come. If the team looks good, Cam Ward looks good, and we're losing because we're just truly not talented enough, in some of those games, then fine. But like you said, I think I agree with you. I think we split Raiders or Cardinals. I also think we split Patriots or Colts too.
Yeah,
I don't see us sweeping any team in our division this year. I think we'll split with at least 2 of them and see what happens with the third being the Texans. I think we split Jags Colts. But looking at that stretch of games, I'll just kind of give my full thing. So coming into it 1-3, I'm just going to say, really, because Warzone and Verdansk came back.
Hey, Kyler Murray's going to be distracted.
Kyler Murray going to be distracted, baby. He ain't looked at his playbook yet. So I'm going to go with we beat the Cardinals. We stay out west. Oh, not stay out west, but we go back out west to play Vegas. We lose to the Raiders, so that puts us where I'm at 2-4.
You think
2-4?
You think we'll lose to the Raiders, bro? To Pete Carroll? I mean, that's Geno. If that defensive line can get to him, that right there is going to be a key game for that interior defensive line. Yeah. If they can disrupt Geno, that game is very, very winnable. You know what I'm saying? So that's just.
But
me.
On the other side of it, if we can't stop Max Crosby, we're in trouble. So it's going to be a battle of the trenches, that game, because I think skill position wise, that may be another game.
Bowers and Genty and
like they can play.
They
got some young pieces. But I could see us pulling that game out. Like if we,
it's gonna be another close game, man.
It will,
in my opinion. That's where old Sly come in, bro.
Yeah,
Big Joey,
55-yarder.
Is this
60-yarder?
64 last year.
Yeah, come on.
The Arizona Las Vegas stretch right here, 5-6. Is this the stretch that TD said that's where they could potentially stay out west and
yes.
I believe so.
Do some
yes,
team
I believe
building?
so.
That's if I remember correctly, he was saying that this is the chunk of where he was saying it's going to be able to tell a lot at that point. That's where we're going to be down to the nitty gritty and how Brian Callahan has turned his team around. If he's coaching great, if he's showing his potential that we're banking on, I think that's what TD was speaking on, of like this stretch right here. Because if we lose 2 of those 3 games, and one of them is way more important than we think, which we'll get into next. But out of these 3 games, if you can't win 2 of these are low key. I'm gonna be real, bro. All 3 of these have to be won. Period. You cannot go to the Arizona Cardinals and lose. You can't turn around and lose to the Raiders, and then Vrabel comes here.
That's what I'm saying.
That right there, if that happens, it's over.
Amy Armstrong's going to give old Brian a casserole on the way out.
I mean, because at that point you're 1-6 if you lose all 3 of those games. You have to, in my opinion, and I'm gonna add in a 4th game with the Colts. You have to find a way to go into the bye at the absolute minimum being.
You got to be over 500, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you.
No. You ain't got to be over 500.
You have to go.
So that means you will win 5 out of those 9 games.
I think you do. With the number 1.
That means we'll be on
pick,
pace for being a 11-win team.
I think.
Hey, Randy, hey, hold on, man. Hold on. Pause this interview.
We have the savior, bro.
He was out in Nashville. Last night.
I was out late last night. That's true. But
have you slept?
Hey, bro, listen. Do we not think Cam Ward is who we think he is?
I don't think he's Jesus. He makes mistakes. He's still a rookie quarterback. I mean, we looked at the rookie quarterback records over the last 10 years. Again, I'm gonna say this for myself because obviously you can't do this right now. I am focused on tempering my expectations.
Yeah,
and I have to be realistic on where our roster is. To me, it's Cam Ward's a big piece, but Cam Ward can play really good, and we win 7 games. And that could still be Brian Callahan staying with the team.
And you know what? And maybe I'm going that hard because right now I'm really hoping that the chemistry in the new era doesn't get disrupted or destroyed due to emotion. That's why I'm banking on some of these games that you have to win them. Because in order for Brian Callahan to stay out of the hot seat and be able to actually build with Cam, he has to get the pressure off his back a little bit, get a little bit of leeway. And that's why I feel like they have to come in disciplined and ready to win these games because that's going to essentially buy him time. I don't care if Cam is showing signs and progression. If you're not winning those games and you're not filling those seats, we could still get this whole thing derailed, and then we're looking at another 10-year gap of trying to get things right. Yeah, that's just me though.
No, and you know, it's all about how let's say we came into it, we're 2-5, right? And we're going into week 8, 2-5. It's to me more about how some of those games looked. If it was we had a chance to win it at the end, there wasn't a ton of penalties. It was just a slug it out game.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
You know what I mean? And we're 2-5. And I think there's a way, and maybe I'm crazy, because again, I may sound like a fan of them sometimes on the show. I'm not right now. But I think we can be 2-5 and the team look good enough to where we can think, okay, maybe Callahan can do this. You know what I mean? There's a world where that exists. I don't know if there's a world that exists where we're 5-4 going into the bye. I don't know if that exists for us, Randall, but I'm gonna let it exist for you because last night I don't know who you was with, bro. I don't know who you was with. Maybe you know something I don't know.
Hey, man.
But okay, so to kind of wrap this first, and let's just go ahead and extend it to the bye. So for me, let's talk about the game. Let's talk about the Patriots. That is a game where, again, I actually think we have an advantage at the wide receiver position. I think we have the better running back. They may have the best running back room, but I think Tony Pollard is the best running back who will be on that field. The quarterback situation is a toss-up for me.
Yeah, but he was White Vic.
When he played us.
He was White Vic last year.
Made 20 people miss in the backfield to throw a touchdown. That might have been when we had that crazy penalty in the end zone. That play when he ran around, that was not even a penalty. Excuse me. But, that's going to be a game. That game has the weight of 3 division games.
I'm telling you, dude, this game, if the season goes the way that Randall thinks, it's not going to matter that much in the grand scheme of things. for Brian Callahan. But if it goes the way that me and Lim think, and then we lose to the Patriots,
make or break.
I mean, the way that this owner acts,
yes,
and how reactionary she can be, I mean, it could be
it's cooked. It's over.
Yeah.
Good.
GM didn't bring you in, so he doesn't have any ties. He's throwing you under the bus too. Yeah, I never liked him anyway.
And that is why
we got a promising young quarterback.
Right.
Hey, and it's just like, bro, I don't want to go through this circus again. And so it's like, Callie has to be locked in. And it's just me. I feel like those things just wasn't translating. Now, when we talked to TD, he put perspective on certain things to where it was like, okay, when you take a step back in the grand scheme of things, Will wasn't that sharp mentally. We still would have lacked there. But if he would have had maybe this offensive line or this potential of an offensive line last year, could things been different then? You know what I'm saying? And so it's just like this year, he has these things in place. He got to go out there and get them done, man. Yeah, Callie, because it's certain things that Callie was dialing up, calling. We seen it. We seen it. And so it's like, if he can marry that with Cam's potential and abilities, we can see Chig getting active. We can see him doing his thing, making things simple for Cam. And so we got to pull some of these wins out, bro. I'm sorry.
No, and you know, for us to take a big step forward would be for us to come in and 4-5 would be excellent going into the bye for me.
Yeah, I'll take that.
You know, that would be for us to be taking a real step forward, doing that pre-bye. You know, what do we have, 7-8 games left at that point? You know, and we don't have we have some teams, but not a crazy tough schedule after that. That could be real nice. And, you know, one thing I want to talk about is, well, first of all, I'm going to give my official prediction of us being 3-6 going into the bye. That's where I'm at.
So who are we beating?
I've got us beating the Indianapolis Colts. I've got us beating
No, I'm talking about just in the last stint, in the last little, between the New England Colts and
who I have beaten there. So I'm going to have us, the 3 wins are going to be the Colts, the Cardinals, and Patriots.
Okay. Well, I have us losing to the Patriots.
I know you do.
Yeah. I mean, now, you know, Vrabel does have a thing. He lost to Zach Wilson, so he sometimes I think
it's gonna be depending on his quarterback
dip in or whatever. Sometimes he gets a little, he gets his mind a little twist. He starts, losing these rookie quarterbacks. But
man,
yeah. So I think we'll lose to the Patriots. I think that Brian Callahan may be on the outs.
My bad to interrupt you. I just wanted to ask. That's crazy too. Yeah, man. But like, how do you see that game going? Is it a super defensive game, or do you see it? Hey man, we out here in the shootout.
I don't see a shootout.
It's
really.
I
24-21 maybe.
Down to the wire.
It's either gonna be that, or I think we may get our ish kicked in.
I just don't see a world where we get our ish kicked in. I don't think the Patriots are good enough. And Vrabel's a tough slug it out. I feel like most of his games are close. That's why if we get our stuff kicked in, we're cooked.
Yeah, I mean, either way, I got us for an L for that, and then at the Colts, I got us as an L for that one, and then I got us as an L for the Chargers. So I'm at 2-7.
Okay.
Okay.
Going into the bye, the bye stretch is an interesting stretch because you jump back one to week 9 against the Chargers, which will be a slug it out game too. We won't dive too much in that, but that's just going to be who can stop the run first. Essentially, is what it's going to be. Even though their quarterback's got some talent, you still got to prove it to me. I don't really care. But we've got 3 home games and a bye in a 5-week stretch. Excuse me. This is a stretch of football that's important to me. The teams that we're playing, we are outmatched at the quarterback position in all of those games, except for, I'm going to say this, and I don't care what you think. Yeah, you. I just guess somebody said, what? Yeah. The Jags, I don't trust Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. The Jaguars.
I don't trust Trevor Lawrence, but that's a key stretch of our season. We've got to come out with at minimum 2 of these games. And I'll tell you why. You know, I'm predicting 6 wins, maybe squeaking to 7. But in order for that to happen, if we're coming in 3-6, you've got to get 2 at home during this period, whether it's Chargers, Texans, Seahawks, Jags. I do think we beat the Jags at home, and I think we can beat the Seahawks at home. I don't really know how much I trust Sam Darnold without an offense that's been perfectly schemed just for you.
Yeah, I mean, Sam Darnold lost. I mean, he's lost DK Metcalf too, so I mean, it's going to be JSN.
I will say though, he did gain Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see how Cooper Kupp looks when he's not with Matt Stafford and in that offense in particular, because I mean that offense just got everybody open on the Rams.
Yeah, 100%. And he's coming off injury again.
Yep, and then so week 11 we got the Texans. So here is where I put on my two-tone blue glasses.
I'm with you, though.
Okay, because I think we'll beat the Texans at home because we're coming off the bye.
Yeah,
I think we'll beat the Seahawks at home.
Okay.
And I think we'll beat the Jaguars at home.
So right now, boys, I like it.
I think coming off the bye week, I think Cam Ward has plenty of time to kind of like look over his past games. He's acquainted with the NFL. They get a break, and he got 3 games at home. I think those are 3 winnable games.
Let me ask you though: is Cali still employed in that streak?
Well, in my theory, we start out 2-7. I'm saying he may already be gone.
Holy.
And so there could be a new coach, multiplier going on. Where there's like we got some new energy coming in.
Yeah. I don't even know who the interim would be because Nick Holtz.
Oh,
I don't think it might be
Denard. Yeah. I mean. And I don't know if Callahan's going to get fired. I think they would have to get their ish kicked in.
Yeah, I agree. Multiple games.
For him to actually get fired. But I think a lot of it's going to have to do too if Cam Ward looks good even in the losses.
Agreed.
Okay.
If Callahan keeps his job or not.
Fair enough.
So and all that if Ward looks good and we still get our ish kicked in against the Patriots. I think he may be gone still.
Yeah,
hey, man.
that's just how I view how this owner operates.
So you've got us at 5-7 through week 13.
Yeah,
that's fair.
So right now I'm around the line of that 5.5.
Yeah, no, I've got us winning. I've got us at 5-7. Yeah, I've got us right there too. Just splitting that with those 4 games in total. I've got us at 5-7. Randall, you've got us at 5-4 coming into the bye week of week 10.
Yeah,
we've got home Texans, home Seahawks, home Jags. Where are you at?
We
with
in
that?
playoff talks right now with Randall.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we on the miracle train, baby. You know what I'm saying? It's rolling. Nashville is lit at this point. We on Broadway going crazy every week. Cam Ward is the savior. I'm talking about people painting their chest. We're going crazy.
Are you painting yours?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't believe that much, huh? Oh, okay. I'm just checking.
Hey, but I do think it'll have that stadium rocking.
Yeah,
that's my theory at this point. And so when we get to this stretch, Seattle, that's a tough one. It all depends on, you know what, I'm gonna give that Seattle game, I'm gonna give us a win right there because I think Sam Darnold is fool's gold and he'll expose himself.
You were saying that all summer.
Yeah.
What did you go Texans? My bad. What did you go Texans?
Would I go Texans? That one I think we go 500 on them. Okay. So whether if we lose on the front end, I think we gain 1 on the back end because then Cam has film.
That's fair.
So
okay.
I'll give them a loss on the front end.
We're 5-5 going into week 11. Yeah. We beat the Seahawks 6-5. What do you got us, Jags?
Jags, man, that's a barbecue chicken, baby. It's over with.
Okay. 7-5. 7-5. Randy's got us at 7-5. Me and Cody are 5-7. Okay. So our last stretch of the season, to me. And we'll know a lot more, obviously, by this point. But Browns, maybe this should the reverse Cam game. Nobody knows. There's 5 quarterbacks on that roster. You've got the 49ers with Big Pay Brock. Big Bad Brock.
Big Bad Brock.
I see you, man. I actually think he's fool's gold, too. We'll talk about that in a second. Who's not fool's gold is Mr. Patrick Mahomes. I hope that they're 15-0 at this point. They rest the last 3 weeks. Like what? But we got Patrick Mahomes at home, which will be a cool game to go to. New Orleans Saints, which is the one of two games that we're favored in right now, minus 3.5 against the Saints. And then we finish at the Jags, which hopefully they're in playoff contention because we always beat them when they're in playoff contention, so they can sit right next to us. Let's watch together. I'll meet you at Buffalo Wild Wings. So rounding out the schedule, we've got 3 away games, 2 home games. But the Cleveland Browns, to me, I expect us to win this game. I expect us to finish up and be at 6-7 at this point. I think that we've gotten kind of some of the bugs out. I think the Browns have gone through at least – they're on their second quarterback, if not rotating to another by this point. Deshaun Watson's in jail. No, I'm playing. I don't know. I don't know why I put that in the atmosphere. But they're at least on their second quarterback. They're kind of going through some turmoil. Myles Garrett is smiling because he got paid, even though he could have left and should have left. But I've got us at 6-7 against the Browns. I'll just go through the next 3, and then we'll wrap up the last 2. Then I've got the 49ers. At the 49ers, I've got us losing out there, putting us at 6-8. The Kansas City Chiefs at home, 6-9. I don't even want to talk about that too much. Where do you see us coming out of this 3-game stretch? We've got 2 away, which we've on the East Coast, go all the way to the West Coast. We'll go Browns, East Coast, all the way West Coast, 49ers. What do you think about that stretch, and where do we land?
So right now, I got us riding a high. We're on a 3-game winning streak. I think we're feeling ourselves. Cleveland in December.
Cold.
Real cold. Quarterbacks from Miami. It's going to be chilly. Myles Garrett's going to be ready to chomp down on some freaking.
Hold on. Would you feel the same about this if the quarterback was from Florida? Like the University of Florida?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just making sure because I didn't hear you say nothing about this with Anthony Richardson when you played in the cold last year.
We never go over their schedule.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
You know, I just say I think they could be potentially riding the high, and I think, you know, Myles Garrett could just come in and wreck the game like he did last year. And that could be problematic for us. So I'm going to put this down as an L
5-8
in Cleveland. Yep, I'm going to put us at 5-8, and then I'm going to have us at 5-9 against the Niners.
Okay.
5-10 against the Chiefs.
Okay.
6-10 against the Saints.
Okay.
And then 6-11 against the Jaguars. I think we'll lose the ender and just split with the Jags.
Okay. I'll wrap up mine in terms of the full schedule. I think I stopped with the Chiefs. And what did I have us at? 5 and
you're 6-7 right now.
6-7.
Browns.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, 6-7 with the Browns. 6-8 49ers. 6-9 Chiefs. 7-9 Saints. 8-9 Jags. I'm doing it. I can't help it. 8-9 Jags, man. We finish up with back-to-back wins. The momentum's really high. We come up into the next season way too delusional, saying we can win 11, 12 games, which if we win 8, we might do that next year. But I've got us at 8-9 for this season. Randy?
Yep.
Walk us through these last 5 weeks. Where do you stand?
Yeah, man. Probably got I'm gonna go with Cody. We probably fall to the Browns. Probably a close game. I think a lot of these games this year are gonna be really, really close. So I think we fall to the Browns. I think we upset the San Francisco 49ers, which then puts us in a primetime flicks with Kansas City. I think we fall to Kansas City. But I think Cam shows himself. Saints, barbecue chicken, and then Jags, clean sweep, barbecue chicken, baby.
Ooh, wait, so you got to say
and then we got a wild card. We got a wild card. You know what I'm saying? We're going to sneak our way in there.
10-7, wild card.
That's bold.
Oh, man.
I'm doing it, man. Hey, man, if we seen what the Commanders did last year,
okay,
and if Cam is who we think we are, like if Cam is who we think he is, I think he can do the same thing the Commanders did, which is come in, shellac everybody, and impose their will as a dominant team, or at least strong enough. And I think, we'll fall in the playoffs, obviously, but then we'll have something to look forward to be like, okay, we got something. Let's go in and get these pieces to fine-tune this team. Okay. If you've seen Stroud do it in a year, you've seen Jaden Daniels do it in a year, Caleb Williams, he didn't do anything, but he shown flashes. Mm-hmm. So I think Cam is like that, bro. I think he's going to surprise the NFL. I think they had a horrible mistake of treating him like that. I think they will pay the price. It's just like how he threatened us and let us know, like, hey, if you don't take me, you're going to know.
Yep.
So, yeah.
I got a question. So if we go, he said 10-7.
I think we go 10-7.
What do you think Cam Ward's stats will be? Because I think he's going to have to ball out to win 10 games.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking.
Yeah,
I was going to say like in the 30s.
Less than 10 interceptions, yeah.
Give me 32.
Okay.
Give me 32 touchdowns. 6 picks. 4,200 yards. Yeah. Get him. Yeah.
But there's somebody.
I respect it, bro.
There's somebody for everybody. There's somebody yelling at their phone. Yeah, talk that talk.
There's always that one team that goes from the outhouse to the penthouse. Every year there's a team that does it. I can't. I don't think it can. I don't think it's gonna be us this year. Just giving my own prediction for Cam, I put him at like 3,600 yards, 24 touchdowns,
which is setting records for the Titans, which is crazy for rookie quarterbacks.
And like 13 picks.
Let me that's probably fair. I'm gonna ask you a question here. Looking at what Jaden Daniels did and what Caleb Williams did, whose season is Cam Ward's going to be closer to? And Caleb Williams had a few more turnovers, was holding the ball a little bit more. There was some locker room rifts. For a second, they lost 9 straight at one point. Jaden Daniels, but he showed flashes, don't get me wrong. He would look like he could still be a starting quarterback. Jaden Daniels kind of took the league by storm. In my opinion, I think the Bears had better skill position players than Washington, so it was more about the quarterback. But who do you see this season being closer to?
I think he's going to be closer to Caleb.
No.
Yeah, I think he's going to be closer to Caleb. Jaden Daniels did so much stuff with his legs too. He was putting up, games with 100 rushing yards. He really affected the game with his legs too. That's not really Cam's game, though he can move around and stuff. I put it closer to just Caleb Williams' stat line.
A better season than Bo Nix last year?
Ooh, I have to look up Bo Nix. Bo Nix made the playoffs.
Are you able to look that up real quick?
Yeah, I can look it up.
Yeah.
Let's
see, because I might have been.
I think Bo Nix is a pretty good quarterback.
Yeah, for sure. I'm shooting high for Cam, but I think he can be in that range of I'll take it. I'll slim down some of the yards if 42 is too much. Maybe 36, 38. You know what I'm saying? But I still think he lights it up as far as touchdown wise and low picks, because I think Cali is gonna make the game very simple for him. I think it's gonna be he'll cook, bro. I got a lot of faith in bro. You know what I'm saying?
Bo Nix, 3,700 yards.
Okay.
12th in the NFL. 29 touchdowns, 6 in the NFL. 12 interceptions. He had a passer rating of 93.3 and a QBR of 56.8, putting him at 18th in the NFL. 4 rushing touchdowns to add to that, so a total of 33 touchdowns.
Can you look up Jaden Daniels as well?
Yeah, so I think I had Cam Ward at kind of similar stat line with the yards and everything. I don't think Cam's going to get the rushing yards and the rushing touchdowns.
Right.
I just think, I don't know, man. I'm curious to see how this team is going to play the games, because I think they're going to have to be playing a lot of field position, a lot of, killing the clock. I think they're just going to be playing, keep it close and try to win the game at the end with a kicker that can kick 55-yard field goals. As crazy as that sounds, I think that's the way that Callahan's got to play, especially with how and the defense to me just is still not stellar unless Snead and our cornerback crew can just lock everybody up.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I mean, I'd probably say 3,500 yards, 24 touchdowns, 13 picks for Cam. I think 6 and 11.
The Jaden Daniels last year had 25 touchdowns, 3,500 yards, 9 interceptions, 100 passer rating, 70 QBR, fourth in NFL, and then obviously the crazy completion percentage, the best of all time at 69%.
Wow,
for a rookie.
Okay, so I'll walk back my yardage. I'll probably say maybe 3,600 yards.
Okay. Yep. Yeah.
But
That's right in between.
I still think he'll light it up as far as touchdown wise. I still stand on those. I still think he'll maybe have 32, maybe 6, 7 interceptions. I think he'll be really safe with the ball, man. I know he likes to be aggressive and take his shots, but I think
he's called himself a gunslinger.
Yeah, I'm just gonna bank on Cali scheming up the right stuff. I see the marriage going perfectly. Like that's my hope, and that's what I see. I don't want Cali to get fired because I want Cam to be comfortable with who picked him and who he agreed to collaborate with, and I just want them to be successful. And I think that will ultimately, you know what I'm saying, we'll be rolling, man. I think it'll be lit on Broadway, man. We're out every weekend, man. Let's get it.
You out every weekend. Like, don't put me on that. My wife watches this show. But a total for Jaden Daniels was 31 touchdowns, adding in the rushing. So, you know, Cam having 30-plus would be really nice.
That'd be stellar.
That would be really nice. I do think he does have similar to Bo Nix where he rushes for about 4. I think he squeaks out it on some bootlegs or some things that, you know, aren't somebody's not there. And he
ain't no freaking read option.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that was a little crazy. But it'll be interesting. So I was just curious on what you guys thought about that. So we've got 7 and 10. Excuse me, 7 and 10, 10 and 7.
Yes.
6 and 11.
6 and 11 is where we got.
We're hitting the over, baby. Hey, put your money out.
You better do it. So, you know, for you guys watching, tell us in the comments, what do you think record-wise? Maybe give us a prediction on Cam Ward's stats. What do you think there? And do you think he's closer to Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams? Which one of those seasons is he going to be closer to? Or does he have a season that's just a average rookie quarterback season, which is about 3,200 yards, 25 touchdowns, you know, 11 or 12 picks, which is about the average of the last few guys who've got drafted first overall. So, you know, tell us what you guys think in the comments. Continue to like, comment, subscribe as much as you can. And I appreciate you guys tuning in to episode 7 of Pressman Coverage.
Pressman.
Peace.
Cam Ward, Jim Ray DK, 1-2 Rookie of the Year.
Let's get it, baby.
Oh, we got a podcast thinking you should watch it. If you driving, man, it's good for you to listen. No, we keep it real. No, we spit it raw. Sports dialogue. No, it's good if I'm involved. No, we're not the news. We just cool dude with nobody to impress. Just talking our shit. Call it Pressman Coverage. Pressman Coverage. Pressman Coverage. Pressman Coverage. Pressman Coverage.